Welcome back to Tell Me More Stories Told as podcast. We're diving into a story today about secrets and lies and a leak that really shook things up in the U.S. government.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Pentagon Papers.
This is a wild one.
It is.
What gets me is it's not just about the leak itself.
Right.
It's what those papers actually revealed.
Okay.
We're talking 7,000 pages.
Whoa.
47 volumes.
That's a lot of paper.
It is, and it's top secret history.
Yeah.
Stuff that the Department of Defense itself put together.
Okay, so 7,000 pages.
Yeah.
That's a lot to unpack.
Definitely.
So what got this whole massive study started in the first place?
Well, we got to rewind back to 1967.
Okay.
The Vietnam War, it was in full swing.
Yeah.
And Robert McNamara.
The Secretary of Defense.
Right. She decided, hey, let's do this comprehensive history of U.S. involvement in Vietnam going all the way back to 1945.
Now, McNamara, he said he wanted this to be for historians.
Yeah.
To learn from our mistakes and all that.
Right.
But was there maybe more to it than that?
There's always more to the story,
Cool.
right? Some folks think he might have wanted to use this study to, influence things a little.
Yeah.
Maybe even get himself ready to run for president.
Oh, interesting.
Who knows for sure.
Right.
But one thing's for certain, this study dug up some stuff the American public was never supposed to see.
Like what kind of stuff? Spill the tea?
Well, first of all,
Yeah.
the Pentagon Papers blew the lid off this whole thing about the U.S. government misleading the public about the war.
Really?
Yeah, they were hiding stuff like coastal raids on North Vietnam,
Oh, wow.
Marine Corps attacks, all while downplaying how much we were actually involved.
So it's like there was this whole secret war going on.
You got it.
Behind the scenes.
It was like a hidden war that Americans had no clue about.
And it wasn't just like a couple of little things they were hiding, right?
I don't know.
This was big.
This was huge.
Yeah.
The deception went on for years.
Wow.
Across 4 different presidents.
No.
From Truman all the way to Johnson.
So both Democrats and Republicans.
That's right.
Wow.
All playing a part in keeping the truth about the war hidden.
That's hard to believe.
It's a lot to take in.
It really is.
It makes you think, how much do we really know about what goes on behind closed doors?
Right.
Even in a democracy, governments can keep secrets, and they can definitely try to spin things to get the public on their side.
So it's not just about them hiding stuff. It's about why they were even in Vietnam in the first place.
Now you're getting to the heart of it.
Okay, lay it on me.
The Pentagon Papers showed that a big reason for the war was to try and contain China.
Ah, I see.
It was the Cold War.
Yeah,
And the U.S. was freaking out about the domino theory,
right.
that if one country went communist, others would follow.
So they saw Vietnam as like a crucial battleground.
Exactly.
Wow.
They were willing to use Vietnam as a pawn in this bigger game.
Even if it meant people died.
Even if it meant American soldiers and Vietnamese civilians paid the price.
There's a memo, right?
Yeah, John McNaughton.
Who was that?
He was the Assistant Secretary of Defense
Okay.
back in '65.
Okay.
He wrote this memo.
Yeah.
And he straight up says the real reason for staying in Vietnam wasn't to help the South Vietnamese.
Oh, wow.
It was to contain China.
That's heavy.
It really is.
I mean, it really makes you question the whole thing.
It does.
And then there's that other statistic.
Oh, yeah, from another Defense Department memo.
Yeah, that one that breaks down the reasons for the U.S. staying in Vietnam.
You mean the one where 70% of the reason was to avoid looking bad if we lost?
Yeah, and only 10% was actually about helping the South Vietnamese people.
That's the one.
It's kind of mind-blowing.
It really makes you think about what the government's priorities really were.
Yeah, they talk a big game about helping people, but then you see stuff like this.
It makes you wonder.
It does.
But none of this would have come out
Yeah.
if it wasn't for one man who decided to do something about it.
Daniel Ellsberg.
That's right. He was a former Defense Department analyst,
Okay.
and he worked on this study.
So he saw all this stuff firsthand.
Yeah, he saw the lies and the deception.
And he decided he couldn't stay silent.
Exactly. He felt like he had to do something to expose the truth.
Even if it meant risking his own freedom.
Even if it meant everything.
That's pretty amazing.
It really is.
So what did he do? How did he actually leak the Pentagon Papers?
Well, that's a story for another time.
Okay, we got to take a quick break, but we'll be right back to hear all about it.
Don't go anywhere. This is going to be good. He saw it all firsthand.
Yeah.
All the lies.
Yeah.
And he decided he had to do something.
So he just went straight to the press and leaked the papers.
Well, not exactly. He tried to do it the right way first.
Okay.
He went to Congress, hoping they would release the Pentagon Papers publicly.
So he thought if the people knew the truth,
Right.
they would demand an end to the war.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
But Congress wasn't really on board.
Oh, so
They were hesitant.
they were worried about the fallout,
Yeah.
political backlash, being accused of undermining national security.
So Ellsberg hit a dead end.
Yeah, pretty much.
So then what?
So then he took a big gamble.
Okay.
In 1971, he leaked parts of the study to the New York Times.
Wow.
It was a huge risk.
Leaking classified information, yeah.
He could have gone to jail.
Seriously.
Yeah, and he knew it.
Wow, so the Nixon administration, I bet they were not happy about this.
Oh, they were furious.
Yeah, I bet.
They saw this as like a personal attack
Yeah.
and a threat to national security.
Makes sense.
They tried to stop the papers from being published.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They claimed it would hurt the war effort and damage relationships with other countries.
So basically they're saying national security trumps the public's right to know.
Pretty much.
Wow.
It became a huge battle between the government wanting to keep things secret and the press wanting to tell the truth.
Classic showdown.
It really was. Freedom of the press versus government secrecy.
You got it.
So what happened?
Nixon and his administration went to court.
Okay.
And they got injunctions against the New York Times.
To stop them from printing the papers.
Exactly. And they got the same thing against the Washington Post.
Because they were publishing excerpts, too.
Yeah.
So the government was actually trying to censor the press.
That's right. It was unheard of.
Wow.
Never happened before.
This is like straight out of a movie.
Oh, right.
The president trying to silence the press and the journalists fighting back, trying to tell the truth.
It was a David and Goliath story, for sure.
So did they actually stop printing the papers?
Well, it went all the way to the Supreme Court.
No way.
Yeah.
The whole country was watching.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone wanted to know if the government could actually get away with this.
It was a nail-biter.
So what happened?
The Supreme Court sided with the newspapers.
They did.
6-3 decision.
Wow.
Big win for freedom of the press.
That's amazing.
It was a landmark ruling.
So what about Ellsberg?
Oh, yeah.
He was facing serious charges.
Oh, espionage, theft of government property, conspiracy.
Yeah, he knew he was risking a lot.
He did.
So what happened at the trial?
Well, it was a huge deal. Not just a legal battle. It was a political one, too.
Yeah?
Everyone was watching.
So what happened?
Well, as the trial went on, something really interesting came out.
Okay.
The Nixon administration, they were so desperate to make Ellsberg look bad that they actually did some shady stuff.
Really? Like what?
They had this secret unit called the Plumbers.
The Plumbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Their job was to stop leaks.
Okay.
And to make Nixon's enemies look bad.
I see.
And during the trial, it came out that they had broken into the office of Ellsberg's psychiatrist.
They broke in?
Yeah.
Why?
They were looking for dirt.
They wanted to make him look crazy.
Right. They wanted to discredit him.
Wow. So the government was literally breaking the law.
Yeah. It was a big scandal.
I bet the judge was not pleased.
He was furious.
Yeah.
He saw it as a clear attempt to obstruct justice. So he declared a mistrial.
So Ellsberg walked free.
That's right. All charges dismissed.
So the government's plan backfired.
Big time.
Yeah.
Not only did they fail to silence Ellsberg, but it made them look even worse.
Yeah?
It just proved that they were willing to do anything to protect their secrets.
Even break the law?
Exactly.
So Ellsberg's act of defiance really had a ripple effect.
It did.
It wasn't just about the Pentagon Papers anymore.
Right.
It was about the government trying to silence its critics.
Exactly.
Oh.
But meanwhile, the Pentagon Papers themselves were having a huge impact on the country.
Oh, yeah.
People were talking about the war, about government secrecy, about the role of the press.
The whole thing really shook things up.
It did.
The Pentagon Papers, they really caused a stir.
It was a bombshell, for sure.
They showed that the government had been lying to everyone for years about Vietnam. It wasn't just about the scale of the war, but the reasons behind it, too.
People were angry.
I bet.
Especially those who had loved ones fighting over there.
It must have felt like a real betrayal.
Absolutely.
Like they were risking their lives for nothing.
And all based on lies.
It's one thing to suspect the government's up to something shady.
Right.
But to have it confirmed in black and white.
By their own documents.
That's got to shake your faith in the system.
It really does.
I mean, if they lied about something as big as war, what else are they hiding?
That's the question everyone was asking.
And it wasn't just about Vietnam.
Right.
The whole China thing.
The Pentagon Papers revealed that containing China was a major reason for the war.
Yeah.
Which completely contradicted what the government had been telling the public.
It made the whole thing seem even more pointless.
Like we were fighting for something that wasn't even real.
It's no wonder people lost trust in the government.
Trust was broken on a massive scale.
And this was all happening while Ellsberg was on trial, facing espionage charges and all that.
It was a crazy time.
And through it all, the press was there, digging for the truth.
They played a crucial role.
Absolutely.
Without them, who knows if any of this would have ever come out.
The Supreme Court decision was huge.
It was a victory for freedom of the press.
Yeah, they said the government couldn't just censor information they didn't like.
It set a powerful precedent.
One that we still benefit from today.
That's right.
But the Pentagon Papers didn't just impact the political landscape. They had a profound effect on individuals, too.
Especially Vietnam veterans.
To have served your country, believing in a cause, and then find out it was all based on lies.
It must have been devastating.
A real blow to their sense of patriotism.
And to their understanding of their own experiences.
It makes you wonder how many other secrets are still buried out there.
That's the thing about history, right?
Yeah.
It's full of untold stories.
And sometimes the truth takes a long time to come out.
But the Pentagon Papers show us that it's important to keep asking questions.
To challenge authority.
And to never stop seeking the truth.
That's a powerful message.
It is.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive into the Pentagon Papers.
It's a story with so many layers.
Lies and secrets, courage and betrayal.
And the enduring power of the truth.
Thanks for joining us on Tell Me More.
We'll be back soon with another captivating story.
Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those minds open.